Hare Krishna. So here's a question about moksha, mukti, or liberation. The whole goal of the human form in this material world is to achieve or to attain moksha or mukti, to get out, to be liberated. From what? From the material state. And to go where? Liberate to what? Liberate to the spiritual state. Now, Shastras mentioned there are five kinds of liberation. Okay? So the first kind is called Sayujya Mukti. This is impersonal liberation where the Jivatma enters into what is called as the Brahma Jyoti. So generally it is mentioned that the demons killed by God, the demons killed by Krishna, they attain the Sayujya Mukti. And whoever desires, who does impersonal worship, worshipping light, worshipping Brahman, purely without material desires, they also attain this Brahma Jyoti. For Vaishnavas, especially, they are not very interested in this Brahma Jyoti because they cannot even think of becoming one with God. Now, ultimately, no one can become one with God. The Jivatma and Paramatma are always separate. It is just like they become situated in the Brahman, the light. For example, we all know that the sunlight is there, and if you zoom in on the sunlight, you will actually see particles of light, what is known as photons or energy packets. They're all individuals, and to collectively they make up the light. So similarly, one who has achieved Sayuja Mukti, they are just one among the many millions of souls who are in somewhat like suspended animation sitting in Brahma Jyoti. So sometimes people think that this also sounds nice, like full time retirement. Wow. But there is a question that the jiva, the soul by nature is active, always wants to engage in something. If you just give them peace but not doing anything, it may be not very interesting. Therefore, the Vaishnavas do not like this because we are engaged in seva. It's, for example, if someone gives you 1 month stay in a resort, in a hotel room, and beautiful hotel room, nice facilities, you just have to stay in the room. Now, 1 month becomes 6 months, become 1 year, become 5 years. How long will you stay in a beautiful luxury hotel room? You'll feel bored. There's nothing to do. I want to do something. So similarly, the Sayuja Mukti also, that's why Vaishnavas considered as hellish. Kaivalyam narakayate. So the Sayuja Mukti is also called as Kaivalya. Generally, it's aspired by those who are frustrated with material life, material relationships, material connection, and they are fearful. They do not have knowledge about spiritual relationships, spiritual activities. They think that this material is same like the spiritual. Therefore, they are fearful even of the spiritual relationships, fearful of the spiritual engagements, and therefore they say that no, 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 I want a neutral state, right? I want a neutral state. So that is this Brahma Jyoti, that is this Sayuja Mukti. Now, the second type of mukti is called salokya, where one attains the same planet as the Lord, where the Lord is residing. So, above the Brahma Jyoti, there are millions and millions of Vaikuntha planets. And one who gets salokya mukti is given a chance to live in the same planet as the Lord. So, if someone is a worshipper of Varaha Dev, they'll go to that planet where Varaha Dev is. So, that is salokya, where one can actually live in the same planet as the Lord. The third is called Sarupya, where one gets the same bodily features of the Lord. So if you go into the Vaikuntha planets, everyone has a four-arm form, Vishnu Rupa. Okay? So someone who is even more elevated in their consciousness, God gives them same form. So merciful, no? They have the same exact form as Sarupya. We can think, that in this world, if you somehow find out that someone is wearing the same shirt or the same dress like you, how generally we will feel? We will feel very awkward, oh, shy, even hateful, even. Why is he wearing the same thing I'm wearing? Right? But Lord is so kind, He gives His exact same form, Chaturbhuj Vishnu Rupam, to all the people who has achieved Sarupya Mukti. And the fourth kind of mukti is called samipya, where one is allowed to be very close to the Lord. One becomes closely observing the activities of the Lord, closely associated with the Lord, daily seeing His pastimes. It's not just, it's going higher degree. You're not in the same planet, you have the same form. Now you have close proximity to the Lord. That is called samipyam. And the fifth kind of mukti is called shrashti. Sarshti means you get the same opulence of the Lord. The Lord has His beautiful palaces and so many Lakshmis. A person who has Sarshti Mukti will also have his own palace and his own Vaikuntha Vasis, Lakshmis. and he is also riding in a beautiful golden airplane. These descriptions are there in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So again, we can see the Lord is so magnanimous, giving off even his wealth, sharing his wealth. In this world, you sometimes see the boss of a company, they don't even ride in the same car as the employee. They say that you guys go in a different car, I go in a different car. Or they don't even share their own office. They don't want to sit together. You sit separately, I'll sit separately. You eat separately, I'll eat separately. Right? They don't share their opulences. But the Lord is so kind, right, that He gives His exact same opulence, sarshti, to someone who's so dear to Him. Now, having said all these five kinds of mukti, and remembering that Vaishnavas only accept at least the four kinds. The first type, which is Sayuja, we reject because it's hellish, there's no seva. In all the other four, there's at least some seva in the same planet, in the same form, in the same closeness, and in the same opulence. There's some form of seva. But Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they take it one step further. Right? This is mentioned in Bhagavatam. This beautiful verse is there, which is the third canto, 29 chapter, 13th verse, which gives a beautiful mood, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnavas want to imbibe this. Sa lokya sarshti samipya sarupaikatvam api uta diyamanam na grinanti vina mat sevanam jana. So God, Krishna, may give the devotee this Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya, he may give everything, all this mukti. But the devotee, Dhiyamanam, Krishna is giving, but not Grinanti, the devotee is not taking. Why the devotee does not want to take? Vina mat sevanam jana. Without a connection to Krishna seva, why should I take these perks? So the devotee is thinking that I'm not interested in these benefits. I'm not interested in what I can get. I'm not interested in these perks. Krishna, I'm only interested in serving you. If these perks, if these benefits do not have a connection with your seva, I do not want them. What is the point of living in the same planet as you if I can't serve you? What is the point of having the same form of you if I cannot use those four hands to serve you? What is the point of having the same opulence as you if I cannot use it in your glorification, in your service? What is the point of having close proximity to you if I cannot personally serve you? So the mood of the devotee is always to serve. We are not bothered about the perks or the benefits or whatever mukti we may get. Right? So this is the one step further that the Vaishnavas take. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimati Radharani teaches us by this beautiful sloka that she recites. Krishna Mora Jivana, Krishna Mora Pranadana, Krishna Mora Pranera Parana. हृदये उपरि धरुन सेवा करी सुखी करूं यही मोरा सदरा है ध्यान. Krishna is my life, Krishna is my soul, Krishna is the treasure of everything, right? But the only thing I take upon my heart is just to serve and please him. That's it. So that's why I said this is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that we are not bothered about what we get out of it. Right? If Krishna doesn't even give me any of this Panchamukti and he gives me Pancha Narakam, if there are five different hells, that is fine. As long as I can remain Krishna conscious, chant, glorify him, serve him, remember him, that itself is the greatest thing. Hare Krishna.